Good morning, everybody. It is Cowboy Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. EST. We're going to jump right into it right now. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on in the markets. I don't know that we have any announcements today. Say Tuesday. Let's do something really quick here. There we go. Tuesday, the 18th of June. It looks, oh gosh, okay, yeah. So some detail just coming out right this moment. Core retail sales for the dollars. So we probably are seeing something in the FX markets. If we hop over to the charts, let's see. That's Bitcoin. Let's look at the euro. And this kind of stuff would affect Bitcoin. However, it's going to affect the Forex markets the most. So if you're looking to try to take advantage of volatility from these types of announcements, then the Forex markets is where that's going to be. All right, so let's see how it's being affected. It's a 5-minute chart. Looks like retail sales came out dollar week. So that means that, okay, yeah, it was lower than expected. Let me see which screen I'm sharing. Give me a second. Apologies for the slow movement on the screens today on different equipment for the next week or two. Let's bring up some charts. Okay, so yeah, the number came in cool, meaning that the retail sales number was less than expected, meaning that the economy is effectively contracting. It's not necessarily a huge contraction. It's just what the data says about retail sales specifically. Now, if you'll notice, there is a yellow line that I drew, and it looks like price pretty much did what I thought it would do. The question is whether it will continue to do what I thought would happen. So I forecasted this out a day ahead, which is something that's, if you can do that, you can make money. If you can predict the path of price, you can extract money from the markets, and that's what we're all about here at Algo Factory. Now, the question is whether or not price will bounce off of here and head down as such, okay? But the retail sales number being cool and the CPI actually being cool is an indication, at least if you're going by the numbers, right? If you're going to trust the official story, and the markets are going to act as if they do, at least in the short term, the indication is that hiking the interest rates has done what it was intended to do. It has caused the economy to quote unquote contract a little bit. It's caused things to slow down, and that was the idea, right? So after the pandemic, and really before, but especially during and after, there was a lot of money that got printed and put into the economy. And it was done to stimulate the economy, and that caused, in the end, inflation. So the concern now is that prices are going up, wages are not rising to match. This is why the CPI number has been such big news, and that did come out just the other day. So the number was cool. This was last week, actually, last Wednesday, if memory serves. And with these numbers cooling off, that's the indication that hiking the interest rates to make money more expensive to borrow, which means that the economy is not going to do as well because all money is debt, right? The more expensive money is, the less the investment is going to happen. The less the investment happens, the less money flows into the economy. And therefore we see usually we see stocks and things like that fall, but they're measuring this based on retail sales, this in today's metrics. It's based on retail sales, and that could be a leading indicator as what might happen in the short term. There's been a lot of talk about the equities markets falling. However, it doesn't appear that this is happening in the equities market right now. This is just a very quick Forex print where this big blue candle right here shows that the dollar got weak just temporarily. It's just one data point. So this is not some kind of market changing data that's going to affect everything for several days. It's just another indicator of things turning around. And again, do we trust these numbers coming out with the economic data? Are we going to go and say that this is reality? Not necessarily, but we will use these to our advantage. For example, what if you had a way to just understand the probability of that news? You could make a bet right as the news was coming out, and you could make money on this by going long, just like I drew right here. There's money to be made in these scenarios. It's not the way that I trade, but a lot of people do. And there are other ways even that I can take advantage of that. Even though I don't trade news per se, I do have ways of capturing profit in those events, right? So this is the way things go. And these type of events add volatility to the market. So even though there's that little bit of a spike that we may not be able to predict quite as well, that volatility will carry through for at least a few hours or the rest of the day. So we got Brad. Hey, mate, how you doing? Good to have you on. So look, zap the QR code in the top right-hand corner if you want to find out what we do. So we basically help people learn how to trade. We help people learn how to predict where price is going to go in the future and how to take a measured approach at trading that, at extracting money from these markets on a regular basis. Daniel, good to have you on. Daniel is part of another group that I'm in, the Rich Cooper's 10%. And Daniel is just been watching these videos every morning. If you have any questions, Brad or Daniel, please ask. I'll be happy to chart things for you. And Brad, thanks for asking. I'm good. Thank you very much. Got some family issues I'm dealing with, and we're being strong. Okay, so thank you for asking. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look, if you don't have any questions, at Bitcoin, and we'll see if there's a way that we can determine what price might do, at least on the near term, right? What might it do in the next several hours? It is holding above 64,800, this low that we see right here, this tweezer bottom. Now, this is a 30-minute chart. This is a very low, relatively low time frame chart. So I'm going to back up a little bit so we can make sense of this from a higher time frame standpoint. We can pull back, we can look at what's been going on over a number of weeks, and you can see the price has been rotating back and forth going back to March, and it's been going back and forth between about 60,000 and 72,000, and price seems to be kind of heading down into this lower end of that, right? And there are a couple of consolidations, a couple of rectangles on the inside that I'm also mapping out, so we can have some idea of where price wants to bounce around. Because if price is bouncing back and forth predictably, one can trade that. You can make money trading that. So let's zoom in a little bit and see what price might be doing and see if we can find a way to take advantage of what's going on there. The screen is taking a moment to catch up, so apologies for all the gobbledygook that you see on the screen. As you can see, I have drawn an arrow of what I think is the most likely scenario. So we have this consolidation, this large rectangle going back to March, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see there's a range that printed above and even below in the past. Although the lower range is a bit messy, it still does qualify. And it appears that price, as I zoom in further, has dropped out of this high range, this area at the top, and there was a possibility that price would break out to the upside. I'll get to your question in a second there, Brad. We thought I did think price might break up to the upside. It has not done that. It has broken back down, and it appears that it's heading into this range once again. So what one could do, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do this yet, I'm going to look for a proper entry on this, but I might be looking for a Bitcoin trade that looks like this. So I might short this little smaller rectangular range that you see. This is a decent short, and I need to find the kind of entry that gives me the risk to reward that I like. Technically, I could take this trade right now. It is within my rules to take this trade, but I would prefer a little bit better risk to reward. And this has actually become a little bit of a mini consolidation right here, which would allow me to have a bit of a tighter stop. See how price is bouncing back and forth in this smaller rectangle right here. It has become a small consolidation. So what I could do is wait for price to break out as it has. And right now, it actually might be a good time to enter this trade. I need to do some math, but this is a decent trade one could enter right now. Again, I would need to do a little bit of math, take a look at the algos, but I would take profit at about 62,880 and about 60,600. My stop loss, I think, is relatively safe around 66,500 roughly. I think it's a pretty safe stop there because we're looking at a consolidation breakout if this works. So let me take a brief look at an algo screen. And because I have a little bit of secret sauce, I'm going to do that off screen. Let's see here, Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin. Want to look on, what I do is multi-time frame analysis. And I can tell you this actually looks like a pretty decent trade. And I would be actually, let's see here. I think the tightest stop I'd want is about 65,500, which I believe was on here. Let's see here. Okay, that's actually, okay, so I would do this. I would trade it this way. I would have probably two trades. So I'd have a stop at about 65,500, which is a very tight stop. And this would be the little gambly trade. And what I mean by that is that I would put a very small amount of money on this very tight stop, and it would look like this. And this is a 10-to-1 trade. Now, there's a decent chance that stops out. So I would put a small amount on there. I mean, a very small amount. But the next comfortable spot I would have as a stop loss would be yeah, 65,000. I'd say 66,000, just above 66,000 is a pretty good stop, which is pretty much where you're looking right now. So about here, just above 66,000. It's a nice risk to reward trade. What's going on here? Let's do that. Okay. So just above 66,000. That's actually a nice trade. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it's actually time to move over to the private live lab. So there's a trade right there. I'm not saying to take it. This is not investment advice. This is a trade that I am going to take. So I'm going to go short on this, and I'm going to probably just take the higher stop, and it's still going to be a relatively small entry. And the reason is that we're looking at Bitcoin does a lot of liquidity grabs. So before I actually take that trade, I'm gonna say I'm not taking this trade yet. I need to take a look at the liquidity nodes to see if I like that stop loss. And I do that over at the kingfisher.io. Okay, so if you are watching this, you know how to use the Kingfisher. So, and then we'll get to Brad King's question, and then we'll flip over to the private live lab. So Brad is asking, other than Forex Factory, if you were trading the news, what news sources would you use? Okay. I don't really need news other than the Forex Factory. And the reason is that Forex Factory is economic data. When you're talking about news, I don't really use that for trading per se, because most news narratives don't mean anything. It's usually just some news company trying to peddle news and say, "Hey, this is why that happened." And occasionally, the news does matter, and actually, it matters not uncommonly. But the problem is that you can't use it, because by the time you're hearing it, it's too late. The market is too efficient. So the answer is no, I don't need other news. You can use TradingView itself. TradingView does have a function where you can add news on to the chart. Let's see, it's on notifications, ideas, chats. See this little, it might be hard to see here, but on the bottom of the screen, there's a little like electric little, what do you call it? Like a lightning bolt. And latest updates. So these are all news articles, and it puts the ticker that matters on here, and it actually will put it on your chart for you. So there's ways to do that. Also, you can go like this, and any asset that you're interested in, if you click on it, you'll see that if you scroll down on the right, there will be news right here. So, that's another way to get news. And this is about as good as Forex Factory, maybe even better. I just like Forex Factory. I've been using it for so long, um, and I guess it's just, how it is, old habits die hard kind of thing. Yeah, I don't need anything besides Forex Factory. I'm a Forex trader, and Forex news is going to affect everything. Even though it's going to affect Forex markets the most, FX news is affecting the dollar. Everything is traded against the dollar. So I really don't need anything else besides that. You could also, like, I know way back in the day, we used to go to a place called CoinMarketCal. CoinMarket, I think it's KAL, and it's a CoinMarket calendar, and it does give you like each cryptocurrency and what kind of news it has coming out. Let me see if I can find it on here, because if you do know that like a mainnet is coming or something, there could be volatility in that sense. And again, I think it's CoinMarket's KAL. That's what it used to be. And I know I've looked at it in recent history and it still was there. But for the moment, it does appear that nothing is coming up. Yep. Let's see. Let's do if I do a CAL. There it is. It's CAL, CoinMarket CAL. And you'll notice if you go on there, if this site still is in operation. Okay, it wants me to do a CAPTCHA. Apologies for the delay here. And then we'll move to Private Live Lab. This is a good tool for like a lot of people. Here it is right here. You have a coin like Stellar Lumens, Ondo, Kava. Kava has a BitCub listing on the 18th of June, which is today. And Kava's an old coin that's been around for a long time. Ondo obviously is a big, that's very, very popular right now. So it has old and new stuff. You got Nostra, whatever, being listed on Mexi. You have Flare token. Oh, that's good. I actually am supposed to have a bunch of Flare. Let me see here. So that's CoinMarketCal. And then you're saying BitBay. BitBay might be a source. I haven't used it. Oh, BitBoy. Yeah. Okay. That's funny. All right. Look, everybody, go zap the QR code at the top right hand of the corner. We took this a little bit farther because we had some good questions for beginners, right? I know this live lab is aimed at beginners, and we have beginners over at Algo Factory. If you want to become a trader, right, you're going to have to really grab this thing. You're going to have to grab hold and want it. And trading is such a broad subject that it's actually almost impossible to try to develop some kind of a class that teaches everything. If I want to develop an algo trading class, then a lot of the beginner stuff is going to be where you have to ask me questions and I answer them, or I might simply, give you a video to watch that I didn't make, or I might make a video. So understand that if you come to any trading group, right, it doesn't matter who it is, to try to have somebody start trading from the very beginning, there's going to be a lot of self-study, and there's going to be a lot of development, and I am happy to try and help people with those basic questions, certainly. But you're going to want it, man. It's it is a broad subject, but the best thing to do is to come into the live lab, or at least watch the live labs every day. Come into the Telegram room, and then we have people in there who are answering questions left and right. If you do become an Algo Factory member, check your emails immediately. You will get a link to our Telegram, and that is where most of the magic happens, besides the online university. So we're going to hop off. Thank you all for showing up. AlgoFactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life. Don't forget,
join us or die.